Hello, and welcome here on my working table. My name is Lisbeth, and I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do many different things. And I have divided my content up so there you can find what interests you and skip the rest. But one of the things I really love is to teach, and this weekend was just past. I've been out teaching in making these fabric collages, and it was two classes, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. And the one on Saturday were with a bunch of art quilters or quilters, and many of them also had a lot of lovely fabrics they make themselves by dyeing and printing and other things. So that was a party making that class or that workshop for them. But when I do these classes, I can talk and talk and talk, but sometimes it is much easier to show what it is I'm doing. So I will do exactly the same here. I will make a collage with all the scraps you saw in the little picture here in the beginning of the movie. And then I have take some other clips, or I have made use the same amount of fabrics I have here on my table and the ones you saw at the beginning of the video, and I think I have made 5 or 6 or 7 different versions of it, so you can see how many ways there is to do this. And as I said to the students, take pictures every time you make one if you're not as totally satisfied. And when you have several of them, look at them. And for some reason, it is always different to look at your piece on a picture on your phone than it is to look on it in real life. Don't ask me why, but so it is. But this is this video this is what this video is about: making a fabric collage. One thing I know was meant to be was this old, I don't know if it's real silver or plate. I think perhaps it said plate there, but it has been in my kitchen drawer for 1,000 years, I would say, but that is overestimated. But I like to put that piece in because it has no value. We don't use it. It tastes awful if you eat eggs with it. So some kind of silver I think there is in it, but maybe not all silver all the way through. But yeah, no matter, it need also a good cleaning, but I think it is so small so it could look nice here on my substrate. So this I know will be in my collage also. And I have a playlist with these fabric collages, and you can find the link here below under the video. And at the end I would insert only ones I have left, because I don't sell my things. Yeah, I would love to. That's not that, but these fabric collages, I sell them. So if anybody is interested, you can look at them at the end of the videos, the ones I still have for sale. And it isn't for thousands of dollars at all. It is a small amount, and the freight will nearly kill us these days here. But yeah, I can not do anything about that. But everything else I talk about, you can find links here below under the little video. And the last little tip I would say is, and I hate to talk about it, if anybody feels like it, they can support my work here on my channel, or with the challenges I have going on also on Facebook by using my Ko-fi account, and there also is a link here below under the video. So look for that, and I will get it started and not talk so much. It could look like this, for instance, or something like this. This could it look like? This is also an option. Or what about this? This could also work. This is another idea. So here we go. This is the way it will end up looking, because I have done all the other previously, but they will come here after the video. The other examples of how you could have made them or designed them or auditioned your fabrics. I know for sure I want this piece in my collage. I have had it in my box for such a long time and I really like this piece. And the same about this piece. So these two I definitely know I will have in my collage. So that is for sure. And then you can start playing and see. There is no rules about how many pieces of fabric you would put in your collage. That is totally up to you. And it is also up to you. All my collages I make this way are made the grid way, or the elements are all fabrics. There are squares or rectangles or stripes in all different sizes. So that is what it for me makes it exciting, that they have different sizes. But for instance, if you have a piece of fabric with a curve, nobody would prevent you to put that in there. But because I'm not sewing clothes or making things for my home or things for any use, all my fabrics are torn or cut in straight lines, so I very seldom have fabrics with curves or other things. But you can use whatever you have, and you don't need very much. This piece of felt I'm making it on is 20 by 20 centimeters, so it isn't big amounts of fabric you have to use. It's more about having a lot to choose between, not so much so you can't decide what you want to use, but have something to choose between. And I often have one or two fabrics that tricks me, and in this case it was these two. And then I go in my boxes. I have a box with very small pieces and a box with a little bigger pieces, and then I have two big boxes where I have all the leftovers I got from a friend, and I have color coordinated them, and then I will grab that stack that I think look nice there, and perhaps pick a few of these things, or take a small piece out of bigger fabrics. And the same I will do in my own fabrics. I also have a lot of fabrics by myself. Some I have dyed and printed myself, and some are bought. Yeah, I use everything, and most of these are cotton and linen and so on, because that is what is easiest to dye and print on yourself. But if somehow I got my hands on a piece of fabric that was a knitted piece or silk or name it, I would use it. I would use anything in these collages here. That's only your imagination who can put a stop to what is you want. Yeah, these were the two here. Then I have these, and I don't like that. And this one, no, I don't like that. This one could work, but then again I end up in the brown area, so I will put that beside here. This one I really think also could work, so I will put that there. This one I don't like. The color is really matchy to this one, but all these stripes and these dots, no. Then I have another piece of this, but that isn't long enough here, so I will end up with this. And this fabric here is one I bought recently. I was in a crafts fair, and there was a lady selling these Japanese fabrics, and I think it's a lovely fabric. But yeah, you could perhaps if you want a strip of it, just tear off there and only use a strip of these, because it's circle and these are circles. You could do that, but I don't think so. So there are there, and then I have these here, and I think this is the one I'm going for. I think this is nice with this fabric here. So, and I'm so lucky, so it overlaps about 1 centimeter, and how far up or down I will have it, I don't know yet. It depends on what else I put on. Then I have this here, and again this circle speaks to this one, and right now it is quite light in the expression or in the way it looks, but that is fine with me. So then I have this piece, but no, I don't think so. But I have this dark one, and I think this piece needs some darkness also, and just a little here. So I will go a little further down with that, so I have the overlap on about 1 centimeter, and there and there. I will go for that. That I like. And then here I have a piece of Momigami paper, and I also think I would like to put that in. And if you don't know what Momigami paper is, I will put a link here below under the video, and you can see how you can make these papers yourself, so they nearly end up feeling like fabric. And I think I would like to place it there, and then I can put my spoon in there. So the shaft of the spoon runs like where these two fabrics meets, and the what do you call that? The head of the spoon. I don't know if it's the right word, but put that there. But I could also, I have a long strip here, but I don't know if that is too much. Again, yeah, you can only see it up here. I will decide that later, because the first thing I will do is cut my fabrics off so they overlap by 1 centimeter, and they are 1 centimeter over the edge of the square all the way around. The last thing I will do, the last thing, is to cut it totally clean. But since I'm rumbling around with it, it is nice to have something to cut off as the last thing. But on the other hand, I don't want to have a lot dangling out, so it's in my way when I start sewing. So that's what I find easiest. So I will take my glue stick. You see this one here is perhaps a little too big. So this one I will just, sorry, fingers in your ears. There it is. I love that sound. So now it's okay there. So I just take a glue stick, and it is not for gluing the fabrics down. They are only dabbing this here for holding it down until I have sewn it on all the way around, until I have invisible basted. And in the best of lives, I would have ironed that piece there, but yeah, you know me, and an iron isn't a match made in heaven. So this one there, it isn't so big, so that's okay. And here, I think I want this piece over here. So again, I will just zut and dut there. And then there was this piece here. I think I'll just do that there. And the last piece is this one here, this dark one. But I will wait with that, but I can see I have room enough now. So that is nice. Do I want it this way and put it under? I perhaps think I do. There. And this will cover this straight area up there. I will go for that. So now I will go and find some thread and a needle, and then I can show you how to invisible baste these fabrics down. Put a lid on so it don't dry out on you. So this is the way it goes. All my fabrics have a color where I can use the same thread, and I've chosen this one. If I had a lot of that and a lot of the others, I would change and do a dark thread on that color there, because this is about making the smallest stitches you can do and just base it down. So the smaller you can do them, the more neat it looks. So I come up and then I go a couple of threads back there, and I don't pull very hard in my thread, because then you would make a small indentation, and that's not the meaning. Up and a couple of threads back, and come up about 1 to 1.5 centimeter ahead of you. And with your index finger you can feel the edge here of the fabric, so go so close you can to the edge of not the fabric, to the felt, because the fabric is a little wider, even though I have shown you this so many times. So I think most of you who has been here for a while know it. But that way I can secure my fabrics all the way around. And then I will decide what to embroider, or if there are any other places here on the surface I want to do the same. But it is easier to decide that when the fabrics are sitting as they should, or as you have decided, and then decide where to embroider. Because if I decide to do stitches or embroidery all the way down there, there is no need for me to invisible baste that down. That would be double work. And yeah, you can do it if you can't decide right away, but it will be double work, and I'm perhaps a little too lazy to do that. But I will sew this on here all the way around, and then I will be back. I decided not to go with this stripe here. Instead I would let the shaft go up there and put this piece of Momigami paper there. So I would again just give it a dab of glue. So I have secured it, and then I will stitch it down. Yeah. I think I would like to put a ruler up here so I can see if it is straight, and I think it's okay because that line is quite straight. So now it is sitting there, and I have taken some very dark brown thread here in my needle, and I think I will just make some, yeah, what do I want? I want a knot at the end here first and yeah, perhaps just tack it down. So I will come up here through all the layers and just go a little out. I won't make them very long because I don't think that is so nice here. Then it would look like some kind of blob with a lot of legs. Just here I am again. It was my hubby coming home, and I have forgotten to close the door to my studio. He knows when the door is closed I'm filming. So now he was just coming up the stairs here, and I could hear him blah blah blah. So but while I'm stitching a little on this here, I can tell you the story about the invisible basting. I know a lot of other YouTubers or people who are doing slow stitching and follow other very famous YouTubers also talk about this invisible basting, and many have learned it from a lady, a lovely, I don't know if she's lovely, but she makes lovely things. She's called Jude Hill. I haven't learned it from her. Now I can tell you where I learned it. Many years ago, when I moved to this town where I live now. It's a small town, about 50 kilometers outside Copenhagen. I didn't know a soul here. We moved here because my hubby got a job at a work here in the city. So not to have to drive long every day, we decided to move here, and I haven't regretted that. But as I said, I didn't know a single soul. But the boss my hubby had, dead and gone for a long time now. She was a member of our local amateur theater, and she had heard I could swing a sewing machine and sew. So she asked me if I want to participate and sew costumes for our local plays here. And I said yes, and that way I learned a lot of other people, and that was nice. And one of the other ladies in the group that was sewing the costumes, I became friends with because we discovered that we have birthday the same day, and she was exactly 15 years older than me, and that bonded us somehow. And she was educated from she has been in, I don't know what it's called when you are getting an education in tailoring and sewing clothes for people or garments for people. And she was at a very, very famous Danish designer, and so she could sew like an angel. But I know she has done many famous things here while she was working there. We have now we're in for a long story, and you can skip it if you don't want to hear it. But we have a royal family here, and one of the daughters of our late king married a Greek prince, and she is called Princess Anne-Marie, and now she's a queen, and now they are not living in Greece anymore. In fact, they are living in England, and he has died and so on. But she was one of them who sewed her wedding dress, and it must have been quite different for her to sew all these old things here for our local theater than to make all these fine dresses for royalties. But she's the one who taught me this stitch, and I didn't know then that it would be so popular and everybody would talk about it. But if she would have talked about it, she would have called it the prick stitch and not invisible basting. Yeah, and then there is a lot to that. So now I sewed all the way down here, and I think I don't want stitches into there, so I will also do the same there. And when I've done that, I can come back and then figure out what next to do. So that was a long story about the prick stitch or invisible basting. Sorry, that was a long story. Next time I will warn you if I'm going to tell so much. But oops, I have decided some things now. This thread here is just peeking out here because I can use it to sew the little spoon on here. And then I have invisible base that there, the black, the very dark fabric, and this also, you can see I've done it with two different threads, a black one and a light one, so you can't see it. And then I have decided all the way over, not over this, but until there and there, I will secure that by doing cross stitches all over here. And then I will do something up here. I think I will draw a circle, and inside that I will also do cross stitches, so there isn't so many elements here in the piece. There are straight stitches and cross stitches sewing wise, and else it is about circles and a circle there. So I will just start here, and I don't think I will make them so big, but of course I will have to go over. You can always try, and if you don't like it, pick it up and try something else. And now I am tangled up in all the other stuff here on my table. Typical. So I sew the little cross stitch up and one by one. Of course I could have taken all the diagonal stitches that way and gone the other way, but I like to do it this way here instead. And I make them, yeah, they are quite big, but you have to go over these frayed edges here. So and again I'm sewing with my lovely mercerized cotton. But I've taken this color. Hopefully it is to be seen in both the black fabric, it's not black, but the very dark fabric, and this color here. And they will be wonky, these cross stitches, but I don't mind. But I think everybody here can sew a cross stitch. So now I can tell you if I like it or I don't like it, and it is fine by me. There. So I will sew until there, and that piece also there, and then I will be back and we can do the last. The last thing is to put the spoon on and cut it clean, but then we can do this. So they are sitting there, all the cross stitches. And then I will draw a circle up here. That was what I decided. So I have this tin plate here. So I will just put it up here, and I don't think I will sew the line around in the circumference. I will just keep inside the circumference. And if I take a pencil, I will be able to see that line. So instead I will take my chalk pen here and hope I can see it. And if I can't, yeah, I can. Perhaps it could have been a little bigger, but now it is like it is. Again, I will take the same color thread here and do some cross stitches here inside the circle. and I will place them totally random. Has habit. I think it was a new word I have learned, and correct me if I'm saying it wrong. I think it was haphazard, and that means the same as random. Or perhaps there is a different for those of you who are English speaking. But if I Google it and ask to translate, it says the same. There. So I think I will just hit the circumference all the way around and fill it out. That is probably the easiest way. So there, and there. Let them go in all directions. So, very simple stitch, but I like it. I will sew this all the way and fill this up, and then I can show it to you. I know I said I would fill this whole circle out with small cross stitches, but you have a thing you think until you see it, and I think it is enough with only in the circumference here, because there's a lot of other things going on, and as soon as I put this on, even more is going on. So now I want to sew this teaspoon on, and yeah, what is the best way to do this? Now yeah, that was stupid because I have to get it out here. There. The thing I would do is I will take some glue here and there, and it isn't for keeping it there, it's just for me while I am sewing it down. So I will let it sit here for a second and dry, and thread my needle, and then I can make some cast over stitches. So I'm holding it here with my thumb, and I will just go over it there a couple of times. Three times must be enough. There. Then I will go up there. There's a little pattern here in the shaft of the spoon, and sew it there. There. I don't think it would run anywhere now. I could perhaps do a single one up here. Yeah, that's enough. Secure my thread here in the felt. There. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it bubbles a little more, but that's fine. I think it's okay. So the last thing I will do is to take my scissor. You can also take a rotary cutter and your cutting mat and cut it that way, and that very often will be more neat than doing it with a scissor. but I think I have packed things down because tomorrow I'm going to an old school friend and we are going to print. He has a printing press, so I have packed some things down, and I think my cutting mat is one of them. Yeah, and suddenly it looks more finished than now it's cut off. Oh yeah, sorry. I will get some frames and I can show you how you can frame them. So the simplest way is to buy a stretched canvas and glue it on or sew it on with an invisible thread. And you can paint the sides in the color you like. And then it would get a little out from the wall, and that would look very nice. You can do the same with a cradle board, and that you can buy in different widths. This is 2 centimeter, but I know you can buy deep ones like this. And you can put it on such a thing. And the last thing is to buy a frame and take the glass off and put it in here. I won't do it now, but you can take this off the back and plop it in, and then it is sitting there. And about the stretch canvases, this is 20 by 20 centimeters. You can of course buy one that is 30 by 30 and 40 by 40 and put it in the middle. Before you can paint it in the color you like, and then you can put it in the middle, sew it on or glue it on, and then you have a bigger canvas with your piece on. That's also an option. Yeah, several ways you could do this. The only thing I don't like is glass and textiles, but that's just me. If you have another opinion, yeah, that is fine. So this is different ways you can frame them. Oh, this is how this ended up, and I'm quite satisfied with it. This was my fabrics and my demo piece for last time I was out teaching, and now it's sewn up. So next time I'm going out teaching, I will have to do another new thing. But I also, while I was teaching, put up this one here, and I have just been sewing and finished it on here while at home. And this piece of fabric there was, yeah, I hadn't been very cautious, so it was really boggling, and that really annoyed me. So I ended up doing a lot of running stitches there, nearly like quilting. And now it looks like it is going to be like that. This is just a disc from a branch, and all straight stitches there and small. Yeah, it isn't star stitches, but it looks like star stitches. And that also fits there. So yeah. I hope this video has given you some inspiration to see what you can use all your small pieces of fabrics and leftovers and crazy things for when we are making fabric collages. Embellish it with stitching and or embroidery and come up with some exciting look. I really like to make these collages here. And if you have been enjoying this, please give my video a thumbs up and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. I would be grateful for that. Also, you can hit the notification bell if you want to know next time a new video is coming up. And here at the end of the video, I will insert another little video where I have all the other fabric collages I still have, and they are for sale. So you can contact me. You can find my information here on YouTube or on my Instagram or on my Facebook. So we can take it from there. But else I will say, please be playful and creative. That is good for you. And probably when you are having it fine, the people around you can feel that, and they will also perhaps have it fine by that. But else, stay safe, and please be nice to everybody. That is the only thing we ordinary people can do here in this, yeah, I won't say the F word, but world. So bye bye for now and see you soon again. Take care.